In 1991, at the 59th running of the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Japanese manufacturer Mazda won the legendary French race called the 24 Hours of Le Mans on Sunday, June 23rd. In this video, we will talk about Mazda's incredible Le Mans victory and the car they did it with, the 787B. Mazda didn't just join in 1991 and win straight off the bat. It took years for them to get to that point. One of the reasons that Mazda won the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 1991 was because of the rotary engine first developed by Felix Wenkel. Mazda ended up being one of the only manufacturers to produce large quantities of cars with rotary engines. To talk about Mazda's story in 1991, we have to go back to where it all started for them in the year 1970. The 1970 installment of the 24 Hours of Le Mans was the first time the Mazda name was heard at the Circuit de la Sarthe. A twin-rotor 10A Mazda engine powered a single Chevron B16 entry. This was the first time a rotary engine was used in a car at Le Mans. A few years later, Mazda returned to Le Mans, and rotary engines were used in the Mazda RX-7, which raced at Le Mans through the late 70s and early 80s. However, Mazda hoped to win the overall victory at Le Mans, but that was no easy task. During the 1980s, Mazda tried to achieve victory at Le Mans, but eventually was beaten by other manufacturers. In 1988, Mazda brought 3 cars to the GTP category at Le Mans. 2 767 Mazdas and a single 757 from the year before. The number 203 757 finished 15th overall, but with their highest finishing position being 15th at the 1988 race, this was not a good result for the Mazda Speed team, and they were way off the pace compared to their competitors Jaguar and Porsche. 1989 seemed to be a better year for Mazda. They equaled their best result at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, finishing 7th overall, but again were off the pace compared to the other Group C entries. A quick fact to mention here is that 1989 was the first time Mazda used the Charge livery. 2 of their cars ran the classic green and orange color scheme, and this livery was famous because it was the same livery that was used on the winning car in 1991. In 1990, Mazda introduced the 787, which would be the replacement for the 767, fitted with a 2.6-liter R26B engine. The 787 looked to be more competitive than its predecessors. Alas, the 787s found mechanical issues, which ultimately took them out of the race. While Mazda retired from the race, rivals Jaguar took victory once again at Le Mans. On top of the disappointment at Le Mans, new rules were announced by the FIA, which included that 1991 would be the final year for the rotary engine. Knowing that in 1992 they would not be able to use the rotary engine, Mazda knew that 1991 would be their last chance if they were going to win the famous 24-hour race. The newly upgraded Mazda 787B would hit the grid at Le Mans in 1991 and would be powered by the R26B rotary engine. However, the 787B had been completely reworked from the previous model, and Mazda hoped that they finally had their chance to win Le Mans. Remember, up to this point, no Japanese manufacturer had ever won the 24-hour race, so Mazda hoped that they would be the first to do so. They knew that reliability and consistency was key in a race with such magnitude as the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Lucky for Mazda, the 787B ended up being the most efficient and reliable car at Le Mans, and combined with efficiency of the 787B, it also had a wonderful sound when it flew by. Mazda's competitors for the overall victory in 1991 once again included Jaguar, Mercedes, and Porsche. Jaguar and Mercedes were the favorites as they had won Le Mans the last 3 years, and newcomers Peugeot were also looking to take the fight to the top teams. Mazda brought 2 787Bs, the 55 car with the Charge livery on it, and the 18 with the blue and white livery. Mazda also brought an older 787, which raced with the number 56 on it. In qualifying, Mercedes had the pace. The number 1 Mercedes C11 took pole position, followed by the number 4 Jaguar XJR14. During this qualifying session, the Mazda 787Bs were just not as fast compared to the likes of Mercedes and Jaguar. And in the race, the Group C entries were pushed down to 11th and lower, including the 787 Mazdas. The first 10 grid places were given to the FIA's World Sports Car class. And our favorite number 55 Mazda started down in 19th, so they had a lot of time to make up in the race. That meant the 2 Peugeots led the race at the start, with the Group C entries climbing the field fast. The number 1 car soon made it up to 3rd position. As hours went by, manufacturers started to have some issues. While they led the race at the start, the Peugeots encountered mechanical issues, which dropped them off the leaderboard. The Jaguar teams had some issues as well. Before the race got underway, the team decided that the number 4 Jaguar XJR14 was not ready to race in this year's Le Mans, so they had to rely on the XJR12s. So because of some teams having mechanical issues, the Mazdas were starting to gain time on the top runners. At this stage in the race, Mazda's main competitor was mainly Mercedes, who led the race through the night. But then, they too encountered mechanical issues as we approached daylight. The number 55 787B, which ran reliably and consistent throughout the race, took the lead around 12 o'clock from the number 1 Mercedes, which unfortunately retired due to overheating. A few hours later, the number 55 Mazda 787B crossed the line to win the 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans 2 laps ahead of the nearest Jaguar, taking Mazda's and Japan's first Le Mans victory. While the 787Bs were not as fast as their competitors, they were consistent and reliable to take the win. And that is what it's truly about in this 24-hour race. Mercedes and Jaguar may have been the favorites to win Le Mans in 1991, but this time, the underdogs took victory, and Mazda became the first Japanese manufacturer to win the 24 Hours of Le Mans with the incredible 787B. So what do you think about Mazda's 1991 24 Hours of Le Mans victory? And what do you think of their journey to said victory? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more historical content like this, please make sure to subscribe by clicking the button to the left. And if you want to see another video right now, click the suggested video to the right of your screen. So that's it from me. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.